You will come back, my friends.
I'm doing this because I'm an eccentric millionaire.
I don't want to get paid to lose. I want to win.
If it were me, I'd bet everything. But that's me. I'm an aggressive gambler. Mr. Vegas.
I admire your notion of fair odds, mister.
Better lucky than good. Right.
Hello and welcome to Unfocused Fantasy Football. Today I have Greg Holt, John Markman, and Gary is stepping in as a guest star for us today. Gary commissions a couple of leagues. He'll have some good fantasy advice for us. Gentlemen, we haven't been on for a couple of weeks. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
It was good. I ate a lot.
Yep.
Nice.
A lot of good games. 3 games. Full day of football. It's kind of like a Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a follower of our rapid fire segment, then you know we've had some really good weeks. Didn't have a great week last week as a podcast, but overall for the season, we're still hitting at 580 when we get there. We'll talk about it. Greg has kind of run away and hid from everybody, but there is a close battle on for second place. So let's jump right in. Take a look at the standings. Everybody in the top 5 is clinched. John's the number 1 seed, although that's a little bit at risk this week. But there's a big glut at 9-4. Greg's right there at 8-5. He could still end up as a 2 seed maybe. And then I'm holding on for the 6 seed. Relic and Jeff are 1 game behind me, and all 3 of us play some of the top teams this week. John, how's it feel coming back from that not great start, and now you're the number 1 seed?
Yeah, I'm happy to be there. I feel lucky. I went, the last few weeks I just haven't been putting up any points, and I think I've only lost 1. That was to Trent, who threw up like 190 on me, but I didn't throw up. Like last week I won with 86 points. So, I've had some injuries. I had Chase was suspended. Drake London's been hurt. Lamar's been underperforming. So it's just kind of, hopefully we can get right and get back on track here, but I'll take it. If I can somehow squeak out a bye and get into the Final 4, then anything can happen. So that's what I'm looking for this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And Greg, you're locked down to the number 5 seed. It is possible that Relic, Jeff, and I could all pull upsets this week, and then you could jump up into the 2-3 seed there.
Well, I'm facing John, so hopefully John doesn't have. In order to do that, John needs to not have such improved luck just for this weekend. But that's a tall ask, I know. But yeah, it was good to. It was good to clinch a spot in the playoffs. I had a good start this year, but then I went through a midseason draw, lost like 5 of 7. But I was able to win this weekend, so that was that's good. And looking forward to seeing what happens, because like John said, once you hit the playoffs, anything can happen.
That's true. And looking at the top scores for the first time this season, I am not in the top 5, so I'm not happy about that. I'm now in the David standard, and of course, David couldn't be here tonight. But yeah, a lot of points scored. Trent has used his commissioner powers to somehow jump into number 1. Greg, you're sitting at number 2, so you're going to be dangerous in the playoffs. And then John actually was leading for a while, has fallen back to 5th.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
some tough weeks here, even though I've been winning, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, what I thought would be fun before we do our start sits, I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about round 1 of the draft, because there have been a lot of mistakes this year. And what didn't look like mistakes before the season have turned into mistakes. Guys who were selected in the first round, we'll start with you, Gary. Who do you feel might have been the biggest mistake in a 10-12 man league getting picked in round 1?
Well, I've never been a fan of, I see players do it, but I've never been a fan of the quarterback going. And I know this is obviously hindsight, but with competition, and especially with wide receivers as well, you see like the difference between say wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 or 4 and 5. There's like sometimes half of a point per game difference.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people reach for a wide receiver in the first round. I mean, honestly, well, I mean, I guess in hindsight, it'd have to be Justin Jefferson because that's probably low hanging fruit. But when I think about almost any wide receiver taken in the first round that has a number 2 wide receiver right on their heels on the same team, AJ Brown is a good example as well.
Yeah. John, what about you looking back?
I'd say probably taking injuries out of the equation because I think, Malik Neighbors went a lot in the early rounds or the first round in some leagues. I had him in 2. I think I took him first. Especially in a PPR, you might see those wide receivers go a little sooner than normal. But I think what I saw going in the first round that hasn't really panned out or been what was expected, I think, is Ashton Genty. He was pretty highly touted, and I think he might have had one game, I think 3 touchdowns. But if you took that out, I think overall he's disappointing anybody that drafted him in the first round. If you were to take a poll on it, and lesson be learned. I'm not a big fan of taking somebody that's not in a hot offense. And, the Raider, Ashton Genty, to me, I never would have taken him, in the first round. I stayed clear away from him. And a lot of it has to do with just being the Raiders, knowing the game script. Yeah. Now, he may be good someday. He may be great someday. But the Raiders are going to be behind a lot. Meaning that that's less handoffs for a running back, So those are some things that people, as they move on, anyone that listens to us and is newer maybe to the fantasy world, those are things you should think about in your draft. Who's in a hot offense? Because, like, we can go through. Let's just look at our draft, right? For an example, number 1 overall pick was Barkley. Number 2 was Jamar Chase. Number 3 was Bijan. Number 4, Jahmyr Gibbs. Ashton Genty went 5, so that guy's hating life because after him, and then Justin Jefferson, who I agree, total disappointment. Then you got Christian McCaffrey, 7.
Who's been really good.
Yeah, Genty went before him. That guy's could have changed the season if he took McCaffrey at 5. CD Lamb at 8, Neighbors at 9, Puka at 10. So in a 10-man league, then you think about, okay, who fell to the second round? Josh Jacobs was in the second round. A-Chain, second round. Derrick Henry, second round. I know he's hurt, but Amon-Ra St. Brown. Bucky Irvin got hurt, second round. Jonathan Taylor, last pick of the second round. So you look at that, and it's like, man, what Gary was talking about is, people are jumping on those wide receivers. And if you look at all those wide receivers that went, Justin Jefferson, I mean, Chase has been decent, but Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb, and Malik Neighbors, Puka's been pretty good too. But CD Lamb
missed some time though.
Missed some time. And he's got the number 2 right there. It's getting every touchdown. So Puka's getting catches and yards, but he's not getting touchdowns.
Right.
Adams getting all those. So I think that if you look at it, if you did a redraft today based off of what A-Chain, Taylor, Jacobs, they would be first round guys, no doubt. And you could
I think Chase would still be.
Chase probably.
Yeah. There's on what you were saying, John. I think there's a very big difference with Genty, compared to all the other players, running back specifically. You were saying that are having success minus injuries, is that they all have capable quarterbacks that could threaten the secondary, so it's got to keep defenses honest. Whereas with the Raiders, they have a quarterback who can't go through his progressions without throwing an interception, and defenses know that, and that's not making a running back's job any easier.
No.
Greg, what about you? Who do you look back as biggest disappointment?
Well, I would have to say Saquon Barkley, based on the year that he had last year. And it seems like whenever somebody has such a like a great season, like a Saquon or even Jamar Chase last year, you always have to consider, hey, when drafting them, are they really going to have come close to having that type of season again? I mean, they may have good seasons, but are they really going to have? Are they really going to be on that? Is it really going to be that astronomical again? And to Chase has been hindered by, Burrow being hurt, so I'm sure his numbers would have been a hell of a lot better. And Barkley, I mean, it's hard to. I mean, Philadelphia's offense just been that inconsistent this year, so that's part of it. And a guy that I would have loved to have before the draft, two guys, Brian Thomas and Chase Brown. Those were guys that I had wanting to have this year because I had them last year in the leagues and I did well with them. But they're also two examples of guys who had slumped this year after having breakout seasons last year, whether it's injuries or other factors. Just stuff happens. You just never really know. I mean, you can do all the research and we do the research and we have good feelings about them, but stuff happens.
Saquon has personally wrecked 4 of my fantasy teams.
Yeah, I think anybody that's got him unhappy with the, and I think what happened with the Eagles is, didn't their offensive coordinator, he's now the Saints coach, right? So
yes,
that I think is playing a big role in their performance, and you can take that a step further too, even really to the Lions. Even though Jahmyr Gibbs has been pretty decent, but they lost their offensive coordinator, and look at Campbell was about ready to fire the guy mid-game, took over play calling because he was so unhappy with what was happening. So this goes to show a good offensive coordinator can help move the needle. That's for sure.
Look what he's doing in Chicago.
Is Gibbs the automatic number 1 pick next year?
I would say probably. He's young. I think Bijan's still going to be up there again. People are going to be high. I like Bijan. He catches a lot of balls. He's fast. I'm as a fantasy owner of Bijan in a couple leagues, I hate that they have how they use him though. I'm like, God, just feed this guy the ball because they throw in what's the other guy?
Algier.
Algier gets just too many touches for my liking. Hawks some touches.
Goal line hawks,
especially toward the goal line.
You may not like my start instead of the week then. So let's transition over to that. We'll put you on the spot on it, but we'll let you have a little time. So Greg, who we starting, who we sitting this week?
I am starting Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. I know offensively they've been bad, but he's been the one decent performer for them. Only 2 of his, and he's only had 2 games where he didn't score double digits, and he had 15 points, almost 15 points last week despite having a back injury. And he's going up against the Bucs defense, who have given up the 4th most points versus wide receivers over the last 4 weeks. And Tampa Bay also has the 4th worst pass defense in the league altogether. So, and I think with what's his name, Vele, the guy who's had a good week last week for them, having him around is going to loosen up. It's going to loosen up with defensive coverages on Olave, so he doesn't get double teamed so much. I think he'll have a good week.
Absolutely. Who you sitting?
I'm sitting David Montgomery. I mean, he averages 4.4 yards a carry, but the problem is, as we've talked about with Gibbs having the year that he's had, it's affected Montgomery's volume. He's had 10 or fewer touches in 3 straight games, and his snap share is lesser than 40% over those 3 games. And who would ever thought we'd say this about Dallas, but their defense is, at least against the run, has been pretty well. They've allowed the 2nd fewest rushing yards over the last 3 games. And if you, those of you if you've been watching this podcast for a while, we love to pick players to start against the Dallas defense.
Yeah, ever
So I think
since they
this is-
got that guy from the Jets, they've been much better for sure.
Yeah,
Crazy
so
what one guy can do.
I may be the first person to pick someone to sit against the Dallas
Yeah.
defense. So
Nice. All right. Well, I'll go second this week. So my start of the week is Joe Burrow. And I think that Cincinnati is going to put up a lot of points in Buffalo. Buffalo was not impressive against the Steelers. I don't think the defense was very good. The receivers were running wide open. There was 35-mile-an-hour winds. Aaron Rodgers played like shit. And I think Joe Burrow will find those holes and exploit the Buffalo defense. Like, unfortunately, the Steelers couldn't this week. The Buffalo is also prone to playing some bad football. They're not a very good football team. They got lucky and ran into an even worse football team this past week. I do think Joe Burrow, who really came on in the second half of the Baltimore game, I think he's going to put up a ton of points this week. I love Joe Burrow against Buffalo.
Do you like Joe Burrow better than Josh Allen?
Yes, I do.
Even
I
though
think
Josh Allen's going against the Bengals.
their
I have to make
defense
this
is
decision
actually
in the league, so I'm just trying to get. I'm sticking with Allen because it's the Bengals D. They've been a little better lately, but I can see Burrow. Maybe game script wise, they get behind and he just chucks the ball. And in that league, I have Chase as well, so the Burrow Chase double down.
yeah.
But it's like, man, it's hard to sit Josh Allen too, even though he hasn't been spectacular. He's had a couple good games, but. So
Yeah.
I'm just curious, you guys take on that, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, and they're playing each other.
Right.
and the game's in Buffalo, right?
The game's in Buffalo.
There's the
But Josh Allen is coming off of 2 not great weeks.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I'm saying.
And he hasn't played great all year, and he turned the ball over. So the Bengals defense sucks, but they've actually played a little better the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who were the offensive lines they played 2 weeks ago before placing the Ravens?
who the
Bengals. Yeah.
Patriots.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Well, Patriots, on paper, and they've been a good offensive line. Didn't they have 1 or 2 of their starters out, get taken out 2 or 3 weeks ago? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
we didn't have, and I say we, Gary, I'm a Patriots guy.
Yeah.
The guy from Philly, we got from Philly, the interior guy, Milton Williams, I think, is that his name?
Yep.
He was out. We lost Campbell, I think, in that game. Did we lose him in that game? Yeah. So, yeah, they gave us a good game, actually.
Yeah,
they were.
I read where isn't Buffalo they're one of the best pass defenses in the league, because that's what we're talking about before the Steeler game, was how they were Buffalo's number one against the pass, but like 30th against the run, which is why as a Steeler fan, we were expecting big things out of the running backs, which we should have known better by now. But there is that to consider. But to me, it's just a question of which Cincinnati offensive line shows up. Can they protect Burrow long enough for him to be able to make things happen? So,
yeah. Now, I said of the week John isn't going to like very much, and then on the surface, this is going to seem like a bad idea. But if you have options, sit Bijan Robinson. Seattle on the East Coast has won their last 12 games. They are a different animal when they come east. It's totally different from what you normally get from a West Coast team. Seattle doesn't just beat East Coast teams. They beat them pretty bad. I mean, they're not hanging on and getting 1-score victories. They're winning by 2 and 3 touchdowns. Darnold has not played great the last month of the season, but he's been okay. Seattle's defense, they have the horses to go play man against the Falcons. I don't think they have any fear of the Falcons wide receivers with Drake London and Mooney and all those guys. I think they will stack the box. I think they'll get cute and give Algier the touches when they should be giving Robinson. I hate this matchup. Now, if you have Bijan Robinson, you're probably going to play him anyway.
Yep.
But if you're in some,
I mean, if you have good enough guys
Yeah.
that you can sit Bijan, then you're probably like 13-1 or 12-2, and got lucky with Jonathan Taylor and Smith and Jigba and all the. But I mean,
or you're 6 and 7, and you
quite
don't want
frankly,
to not make the playoffs because you benched them.
yeah, quite frankly, if you're benching Bijan, you're an idiot.
well, I will tell you
You may
this.
think that he's got bust potential, but bench him, I just don't see that.
I think it matters who else you got, who else you're starting, because you still probably got at least a minimum a safe floor.
Yeah, Drake can catch 4 balls. If they get behind, he's still going to get the dump off passes.
And Drake London missed last week's game. Is he on track to play this week?
Questionable, but leaning towards playing.
Well, then his availability. You got to consider his availability as well.
Yeah, that's where they stack the box a little more if Drake London's not playing, because then who they got? Mooney, Pitts, underwhelming. And then you got old man, what's his name, throwing the ball. So
Cousins.
Yeah.
You look at since week 8, he's had some not great games. Miami, he put up less than 6 points. Even New England, he ended up with 17.6, which is okay. But like I said, if you got options, Indy, he only scored 10. Had a big game against Carolina, got 30, but came right back the next week and only scored 14. He's coming off a huge game against the Jets, and now he's playing a good defense again. I don't love him. Like I said, you have to have options. Either that or
around 6'7". 6'7".
You sit him down and then you take your chances. But that being said, I'm not sitting him down for RJ Harvey. But we've seen in the comments sometimes where people have these ridiculous.
Well, RJ Harvey's not bad. Who the heck would you sit him for?
Who would I sit him for?
Yeah.
If I've got Breece Hall as an option,
God, you're crazy.
Breece Hall's coming off a couple of very nice games. So
this is why Bob's is a donation to your league.
I'm just telling you, if you have the options, if you have 2 good running backs and a wide receiver who can play flex, and if you're counting on 20, 30 points from Bijan this week, I don't think you're going to get it. I think you're going to get the 8 to 15 point version of Bijan.
Let's hope not.
Which
you're going to do good this week.
Which, if you're counting on him, if your playoffs have started, or you need this game, and Bijan's your horse, and you're in that 6-7 range, you're not benching him. But if you're 9-4, 10-3, and you got somebody you can go to on the bench, you might want to think about it.
I tell you though, and I understand your point about the East Coast. Fair enough. But if you look again, I'm looking at Seattle's defense right now against running backs. Minnesota got 4 yards per carry on them, and their offensive line is a wreck right now. The Rams got 5 yards a carry on them. Washington, 4 yards a carry on them, and I don't even need to talk about their situation of their offense right now. The first, all the way up until their week 8 bye, they were shut down. 2 touchdowns, nothing more than 69 yards given up to a running back up to their week 8 bye. But since the bye, they gave up 103 yards and a touchdown, 5 yards a carry to Washington at Washington. Arizona, 96 yards. Rams got 101 yards and a touchdown. That's 5 yards a carry there. And obviously Tennessee and Minnesota didn't do so hot. But I think if a capable team with this solid offensive line, it's still doable, especially since the bye. Maybe they're getting tired.
Yeah. And I will say this. What the hell's Atlanta got to play for at this point?
Wow.
They're 3-9. They're done. They're cooked.
Jobs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Bijan's worried about a job.
I was thinking more about the coach and offensive coordinator.
Well,
they do play in the NFC South, so if they run the table, it's possible and depending on what the other teams do, they could challenge for that division.
Are they
All right.
3-9?
Huh?
Are they 3-9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if you caught the fantasy draft, the fantasy professor podcast I was on, I told an Atlanta Falcons Stan, we'll just call him, that they would be lucky to win 5 games. And they're making the playoffs. They'll be lucky to win 5 games. So,
Well, the one thing about the NFC South that we know is you don't know about the NFC South.
Yep, absolutely. All right, John, who we starting? Who we sitting?
I'm going to start. I know it's a little weird to start a Jet, but Adonai Mitchell, he's been coming on the last few weeks since Fields kind of stepped away, since he was traded in the Sauce Gardner trade. I think you're starting to see some of the capabilities that he's had. He's just Garrett Wilson out. He's really been the volume is there. Last week, 12 targets. He had 102 yards, a touchdown. I think the week before that he was coming on, so he took a step forward last week. So I'm looking Jets are going to probably be behind to passing the ball, and who are they going to throw it to? Him and Mechie. So I look for him to stay hot. My sit is Woody Marks. He was a hot name there for a while. He's kind of been up and down. He has a great game. Everybody's on the Woody Marks bandwagon. Kind of got a little nicked up, but 3 straight games under 8 points. Gives you nothing in the passing game. Has a tough matchup against the Chiefs this week. I'm staying away from him if I don't have to play him.
And there's always the Nick Chubb factor with Houston too.
Well, you would have thought Marks is kind of taken over as the leader, and then I don't know. I would stay away from either. I actually had Chubb in a couple leagues. I think I've dropped him by now in both of them. He's a name at this point, name recognition, and more than actual production.
Well, that's true. Otherwise, he'd still be with Cleveland. But
that's going to be. I'm kind of surprised that one didn't make your over under the weekly 39.5 or 38.5 question.
Which one?
Kansas City, Houston. It's I don't think that's going to be a very high scoring game.
It might not be. I think Cleveland's been part of every over under. One, they got a crappy offense and they got a great defense. So
yeah,
they can score and no one can score against them.
All right, Gary, without further ado, who you starting, who you sitting?
I think I'm going to be – I picked him up waiver, believe it or not, but I think I'm going to go with I'm going with Jared Goff over Jacoby Brissett this week. As really – I know a lot of people are benching him. I think somebody even dropped him with the issue with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sweating it that much. The gambler in me – or I'm not much of a gambler, but the fantasy football gambler, I kind of like it still because even though we lost him, I think by the end of the first quarter, Amon-Ra went down last week.
Yeah.
It didn't affect Goff at all for the rest of the game. His stats were still good. He has still has good pass catchers on that team. I mean, I don't know. They're playing Dallas. Dallas, whose secondary is what? Dead last, almost dead last to the pass. I mean, teams that are like significantly less effective than the Lions are still torching them in the air.
Yeah, that can be a shootout. That game,
and that game I'm sure that's going to be one of the highest over-unders. So even if they're losing, at least bare minimum junk time points. He might get over 20 points in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Well, he might get over 10 points in the fourth quarter. But I don't know. I like that game. And of course they're going to have trouble running against Dallas. That's not I think they have the number 3 ranked run defense since acquiring Quentin Williams.
Over under is 54. It's the highest of the week.
There you go. So it's not going to be easy for them to run on them. But fortunately they got 2 running backs that can have absolutely no trouble catching passes as well.
All right. So who are you sitting?
Oh, I told Jacoby Brissett, who I've actually been riding ever since Jackson Dart got hurt a few weeks back. Actually, a week before Jackson Dart got hurt, I plugged in Jacoby Brissett. and it's been doing me quite well. But no, I think
until
he's gonna have
Marvin
to go to the
Harrison
bench
comes
this week.
back. Harrison comes back, and the offense kind of shits the bed last week. With him out, they're feeding the Wilson guy. The McBride's going off, and last week Harrison comes back. McBride doesn't do shit. Wilson doesn't do shit. I think we've talked about Harrison a couple times on here.
I've actually a couple of plays start sit sites that I've looked at. They actually said to start Jacoby Brissett. So it's interesting.
Oh no,
it's interesting. Their reasons versus yours.
Yeah, and they're playing the Rams. And the Rams
I get it. Rams are against quarterbacks. They got a very young, and I mean they've got a sneaky good defense.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's hard. They've got the number 2, number 3 ranked run defense. They still have a top 10 pass defense. That's probably the most balanced.
Yeah, they get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I could see Brissett taking some hits and being lucky to even last this game.
Yeah, it's just that game is too risky for me. Not against that defense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So that's our start sits. We will throw David's out there since he was kind enough to share it. He wants to start Jordan Mason. Aaron Brooks is questionable. And then he's actually sitting Michael Wilson, being that we're talking about him. So interesting. He was on the Michael Wilson bandwagon for starts a couple of weeks ago, and now he's ready to cut bait.
What's interesting about fantasy football is if you look at the teams, typically either you get really lucky and you don't get any injuries to your team and you can get through and win it all, or you're finding a guy like a Michael Wilson that's going to have the couple games that he had, he's going to have him in the playoffs for you, where you're picking him up off the waivers because you had Marvin Harrison and he got hurt. If you look at the winning teams, like historically, if you go back, like sometimes I'll go back and look at, the beginning of every season, like, what did my team look like that I ended with last year in this league? And it's like, man, half of these guys weren't even drafted. I got 3 defenses on here trying to do the matchups, and but the winner always has some squirrely couple guys that, just are going to get the volume because somebody else is hurt or, so those are you got to try to look for those, especially when you're in 12-man leagues and stuff, 12 plus.
The guy you brought up as your start, A.D. Mitchell, who would have figured at the start of the year he was barely getting on the field for the Colts. He goes to the Jets, and because of the injury to Garrett Wilson, he had the week that he's seeing the targets that he is now.
Yeah.
So
I think with those guys, what it is every year, fantasy football, real life, they exist. They get their opportunities late in the season.
Especially for the teams that are out of it,
Yeah. If you look at those guys, just a guy like, say, Adam Thielen going to Pittsburgh, maybe not. But like an Adonai Mitchell for the Jets or a Vele, you're talking about those are guys that are the sneaky guys. But there is logic behind them. If you do a little research, both of those guys were drafted and highly touted by the coach who drafted them. Let them go because their quarterbacks or their wide receivers are too. How many wide receivers do the Broncos have? The competition that Vele had there was pretty thick, as well as Adonai Mitchell and Indy. But both of them were sneaky. But
I remember
highly touted
to get Mitchell. I'm like, damn,
out of college.
Check around. Yeah, let's get this guy.
Yeah,
right there.
You're talking about guys that are versatile too. That do exceptionally well in the slot, average to slightly above average wide, but they've had a problem getting touches because of the teams that they were on. Then they go to a Jets. Yeah, that's totally a sleeper pick, especially if you need to save your butt and you got a guy hurt and a guy on a bye.
Yeah,
those are the guys you want to go grab.
Mm-hmm.
These buys, week 14, last week of the fantasy season.
Yeah, it's killing me. McCaffrey's on a bye. He's I'd have a real chance this week if I had McCaffrey going, but Ricky Pearsall's out. It really hurt my team. It was 49er centric, but I wasn't expecting to be fighting for the playoffs. All right, are you guys ready to do some rapid fire?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right. Where's our
Destruction the second to none.
All right, John, take it away.
Well, do we have some stats? Do we have
Oh,
standings?
yeah, let's throw up some stats here. Slide 3. All right, so Greg, 72, 37, and 1, absolutely crushing it, although he did have his first losing week last week.
Oh, did he? I
Yeah.
gambled out on him last week. I didn't see what anybody did last week because we didn't have it, and I don't have access to the sheet. So I know I was 5-5, but I don't know what everybody else.
Well, I think Bob Bob was nice enough to compliment me on how I've been doing on the Monday Steelers Sanctuary podcast, which I
Yep.
think ended up being a kiss of death, which is why I
What'd you do? What was your record? What were the records this week?
apparently I was 4-6.
Yep. I was 4-6. Jeff was 4-6. David and John were 5-5,
Wow. All
which
right.
is quite
5 and
unusual
5
because
leads the way.
we've been killing it up until now.
Well, I guess we were anticipating how much turkey we're going to be eating. So
I made tougher questions last week. So
Yes, you did.
and you introduced us to Shamir DK, or the guy from the
Shamir DK.
Titans.
Yeah.
yeah,
First and
I
last
think
time
we
he'll
did
be on
pretty
this list.
shit, yeah. Over under 1 catch.
I saw that like,
And I picked him.
who is
I
this
picked him.
guy?
I picked him, and Myers killed him. All right, so let's start with our Thursday night game. We're going to go passing yards. More passing yards. This goes into Gary's start of the week. Dak or Goff? Who has more passing yards tomorrow night? Dak or Goff? Let's start with you, Quinn.
You know, this is a must-win for both teams.
Yeah.
There's a chance Brown plays, but even if he doesn't, I love the idea of Jamison Williams versus that secondary, but no Laporta. I think this is a big Jahmyr Gibbs game, and he'll catch a bunch of passes. I'm going to go Goff in the upset here.
All right, Greg?
I'm gonna say Dak.
Gary, what do you think?
Gary?
This is a tough one. Touchdown passes.
No, passing yards.
Oh,
Passing
passing
yards.
yards. I'm gonna go Dak.
I, too, will go Dak.
All right, and David also went Dak.
Okay.
Jeff hasn't made his pick yet, but right now I'm on the island.
Okay. All right, moving on.
You're the lone wolf.
Some of
Yes.
we talked about some of these. Bengals at Bills. More receiving yards. Going running back receiving yards. More receiving yards. Chase Brown or James Cook? Let's start with Greg.
I'll say Brown, just because I think the other running backs that are on Buffalo's team, is it Davis and Johnson? I think they're gonna get more be more involved in the pass game than Cook.
Gary?
Gonna go Cook. Passing, you said passing or
Pass.
receiving yards?
Yes.
Receiving.
Yeah, receiving yards for running back. I'm gonna go Cook.
I will go Brown as well. He's been picking it up a lot, and now with Burrow back, hopefully he relives some of his glory days of last year.
Well,
Friend?
David went Cook, but I'm going Chase Brown. I'm with Greg here. Ty Johnson is their best receiving running back. I think Brown will be a weapon in this game. So yeah, give me Chase Brown, mostly because Greg says so.
Hey, no more kisses of death.
I think he's going to be a big weapon in this game, but I think most of his yards are going to come on the ground.
Brown. Yeah.
Nope.
All right, our obligatory over-under with the Browns again this week. Tennessee at Cleveland. Battle of the Titans, no pun intended. Over-under 34.5 points. Quinn, we'll start with you.
Shador Sanders lights it up, and the Browns win 9-2. And yeah, it's definitely an under here. I can't think of two worse offenses.
I'm going under as well. Gary?
Going to go under. I think Cleveland keeps up. Actually, I think Cleveland holds their end of the bargain up. I don't think Tennessee will, though.
Yeah, it's hard to see Tennessee getting.
No.
The only thing that worries me sometimes Cleveland is getting they could throw a wrench in getting a couple defensive touchdowns,
Mm-hmm.
then a couple offensive, and all of a sudden they got 28 and 28-7, and we all lose. But
Yeah. I mean, if the quarterback takes a next game step, he's got good tight ends, decent wide receivers, good running back. And you can't say that it's that complete with Tennessee. But I mean, and obviously the defense to back it up. I see a scenario where Cleveland can get more than 15 points, between 15 and 21 points. I just don't see Tennessee. Like I said, I don't see Tennessee keeping up their end of the bargain.
One thing to remember is the Myles Garrett killer will be in this game.
what? Someone that blocks him?
Dan Moore Jr. will be blocking Myles Garrett one-on-one.
That must be a old Steeler or something.
And weirdly, he sucks, but
Yeah.
weirdly, he owned Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett
What's
very
Myles
rarely
Garrett
got pressure.
next tomorrow
Yeah.
or Sunday? Greg,
The one guy he can block.
Yes.
I'll say under.
okay. And what did David say?
David said under as well.
Yeah, if you're
I'm
riding
going to
that,
go out on a limb and say Jeff
Been-
picks
I
it.
remember we've gone down from 39.5 to 34.5.
I'm trying to make it like
I got you. I
it's
got you.
hard to do. 40, given the 40, it's like that's an easy under.
Yeah, good. Valid point. Valid point.
All right, Redskins at Vikings. Did the Vikings throw for over 199.5 yards? So, who knows who the quarterback's going to be? Could be 1, 2 playing. The combination of whoever plays, however many, over under 199.5 against Commanders. I keep calling them Redskins.
Yeah.
Gary, we'll start with you.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Over under for Vikings passing yards, 199.5.
No, under. Dude, if they go to the backup ish, God, what do you throw? 4 picks last week? 6?
I mean, he made J.J. McCarthy look
He made
palatable.
J.J. McCarthy look like God. And McCarthy, even if he does play, he's coming back hobbled. That's going to be ugly.
And he's terrible anyway.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy is officially starting.
Really.
Okay.
So he'll get like $160.
I actually think because the Commanders, if Jaden Daniels plays, I'd say under, but I'm going to bank on Jaden not playing, and I'm going to say over, and Justin Jefferson will get 80 yards on 1 catch.
Okay, Greg?
I'll go under.
What did David say?
David said under.
Quinn lone wolf in it.
I like it. Well, Jeff may agree with me.
Maybe. Saints at Tampa. More receiving yards. Chris Olave or Egbuka? So Egbuka's been kind of struggling a little bit lately, I think, since Evans kind of disappeared. But I'll start with this one, and I'm going to say Olave. I like Olave. And he's been doing good to Greg's start of the week, so I'll ride that with Greg. And Greg, your pick.
I'll say Olave too.
Gary?
Reluctantly, Olave. Egbuka's stats actually were really good when Mike Evans was on the field this season.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
had
Yeah.
his best stats.
Since Evans went down, Egbuka's
You got Godwin comes back, and he kind of takes away from Egbuka's slot, some of his slot shots. And last I checked, Godwin is questionable. So if you've got Egbuka and Evans on the field at the same time, I'm actually debating. I have him, and I'm debating, do I want to put him in my flex if Kyle Monangai doesn't play?
I've got Egbuka on mine too, and I sat him last week, and I'm still unsure what I'm going to do with him this week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think Olave is the better or the safer bet, but just don't be surprised if Egbuka gets 112, 118 receiving yards.
Well, then let Olave get 130.
Yeah.
This could be a Bucky Irvin week.
Well, last week, Olave had 4 for 47. Egbuka 4 for 42. I'm gonna bet on Baker over Tyler Shuck. I'm gonna go with Buka.
And what Dave said?
Dave said Olave.
Okay.
Did you say Olave too?
Colts at Jags. More rushing yards. Jonathan Taylor or all of the Jags running backs combined? Let's start with you, Quinn.
I think this is a breakout game for Jonathan Taylor. He's been okay the last couple of weeks, but not like he was earlier in the year. He gets his MVP candidate back on track. I think the Colts have to have this game, otherwise they're headed for third place in that division.
Yep, I agree. I'm taking Taylor as well. Greg?
I'll take Taylor.
Gary?
Same.
Crazy.
John, did you take Olave or Buka?
Who?
You.
I picked Olave.
Okay.
And who David picked, Taylor or Jags?
He picked Taylor. It's a clean sweep on Taylor right now.
All right.
Lone wolfing.
You're going to you guys' train wreck of a team. Steelers at Ravens.
Ugh.
Let's go to a Derrick Henry prop here. Over under for Derrick Henry, 89.5 yards. Start with you, Greg.
I'll say over.
Gary?
Over.
I'm going to say over too, although he's kind of underperformed, but
yeah, well,
I think the Steelers are reeling.
Bills game?
Yeah, I think the Steelers are reeling right now. They're just I feel that the Steelers are in uncharted grounds right now. Like they've been mediocre for years, really, like good enough to not be bad, bad enough to not be good.
Yeah.
But right now I think they're really bad enough to not be good. So
I could be wrong, but going back to last season, when we first played the Ravens, we did a very good job of stopping the run as good as any team could be expected. And then by the time, and I think we kept them under 100 yards, one of the best teams to stack up against them. By the time we played them again at the end of the season, Tomlin wanted to take over more of the play calling or defensive scheme and totally wrecked it. And we didn't stop. We couldn't stop him for anything. He ran through us, made us look like flies.
And I think the rookie guy's not playing this week, I don't think, right?
Harmon? No, he's not.
Harmon is not playing.
Harmon's out. Queen is underperforming. And after what Derrick Henry did to us last season, I honestly don't even know if I could put any stock in him having a slightly lesser season this year. Unfortunately, it's going to get ugly.
Okay. Quinn?
Derrick Henry hasn't gone over 89.5 yards, 8 of 12 games.
I know.
So this is not a lock by any stretch of the imagination. I think the Steelers, because of how they got run on against Buffalo, because of what happened in the playoff game last year, they may come out in goal line because Lamar Jackson is not having a good year. I think they will do everything they can to stop the run. I think Derrick Henry goes over, but Baltimore will run for 150 yards. I just think Keaton Mitchell is going to be a problem for the Steelers.
All right. And what David take?
I'm on the island. Everybody took over. I took under.
You just said I think he'll be over.
No, I said the Ravens will run for 150 yards, but I don't think Derrick Henry will run for 90.
That's not a bad take, Bob.
Okay. Bears at Packers. More rushing yards. Swift or Monangai? Greg, we'll start with you.
Swift.
Monangai's questionable.
Quinn?
Swift has been really good the last couple of years. Sorry, I'm jumping in there. I'm going Swift as well.
Jerry?
It's Wednesday, and a lot of injuries come up on Wednesdays that are just maintenance related.
Yeah.
And I have Monangai on my team. I'm going Monangai. I think I got to go Monangai on this one. Swift, you always got to worry about that groin with Swift.
I'm going Monangai too.
I saw his college tape, and I went in and picked him up the minute I got done watching that tape. I was astounded.
Oh, yeah, that's another one of those guys we talk about for the playoff runs, and with Swift's little bend, he tends to get banged up. So
The
he could
guy
be a
that got
that wins your fantasy leagues.
maybe the guy that got beat up in what's his name from the Giants, rookie running back.
Yeah,
Scatterbo.
Scotty. I watched a lot of Monungai's tape, and he ran not quite as much, but similar to Scatterbo as far as running through people. But he had moves though too.
Yeah,
He had a lot of missed tackles, a lot of forced missed tackles, and I saw the ability to be both kinds of running back in the same guy. And I don't know. I think he has the potential to be something really special.
Who are you guys talking about here?
Monungai.
The Giants guy. What's his
Scatterbo.
name?
Scatterbo.
Oh, Chunk from the Goonies. That's who you mean.
Whatever. Call him what you want. Call him what you want, man. He's
going to have the greatest 3-year.
Between him and the end zone.
He's going to have the greatest 3-year career in the history of the NFL.
Who'd David take?
David took Swift as well. So we're mixed on this one.
Yep. All right. Sunday night game. Houston at the Chiefs. More receiving yards, Rashee Rice or Collins? Collins or Rice? More receiving yards. Quinn, let's start with you.
This is an interesting one. If you would have said receptions, I would go Rice.
Yeah, they throw it little out screens to him all day. It's like they don't go downfield.
He doesn't have a lot of time.
Nico has not been as good as he usually is.
He's been coming on, though.
Yeah.
I do have him in a few leagues. He's been doing pretty good, actually.
Stroud's back. Boy, if the Chiefs lose, they're not making the playoffs. So
Chiefs lose, America wins.
Yeah.
Now I know what you guys thought about the Patriots all those years.
I'm going to say Rice, but I am heavily leaning towards picking the Texans in this game.
Yeah, their defense is real deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Collins. Gary?
I agree, Collins. Yeah.
I'll go Collins as well.
I think Texans defense might have their way with
this is going to be
the Chiefs in that offensive line or lack thereof.
And I'm sure you're going to see Derek Stingley all we're matching up with Rashee Rice a lot.
Who'd David take? Quinn?
David took Nico as well. How many islands am I on here?
I don't know, but you could really make a dent.
Just call you Hawaii.
I know. I'm on 4 islands so far this week, but I like it. Usually when I'm on the island, I do okay.
All right. There's about 3 outliers will be coming in Australia.
Yes.
The last one, Monday night game, Eagles at Chargers. Over under for A.J. Brown coming off a good game, 5.5 catches. So does A.J. Brown get 6 catches or does he get less? So over under 5.5. Let's start with you, Gary.
I don't know. Chargers got a pretty good pass defense, don't they? I'm going to go under. I think he gets 5.
I'm going to go under 2. I could see him getting like in that 4 range.
4 to 5 range. He might get a couple.
If he cries, they tend
ones,
to
but yeah.
the ball, but he was happy last week, so that means they can go keep the other guy happy this week, which will piss A.J. Brown off, and he'll get good. Next week will be good for him.
It's only top 5.5 catches in 5 games, but 3 games in a row. Give me the over here.
Greg?
Yeah, I was looking at the same thing. Give me over.
What did David take?
David took the under.
Okay.
So
all right, that wraps up rapid fire.
Sweet. All right, guys. If we don't have any questions from the audience, Sanctuary is going to be. We're going on Thursday this week. We have some things on Friday that we couldn't do it, so we're going to go tomorrow night at 7. Trent and I will be on the War Room at 11 o'clock on Sunday with some film and a breakdown of how we're going to beat the Ravens. I'm saying it that way on purpose. We'll have legendary picks tomorrow night. We'll be back Monday to break the game down, and we'll be back next Wednesday with some more Unfocused fantasy football. Guys, you got anything before you get out of here? Anything you're looking at where you were just leaning toward, you wanted to say it at start sit, but you couldn't?
Good.
Drake May's the real deal, Quinn.
Yeah. Thanks for having
I
me.
don't
on,
like
guys.
his chances this week, though.
Drake May.
We are not going to win this week. I guarantee it.
I don't know. I think he is the real deal. However, I don't think he plays a top 13 defense all season.
Oh, the Browns aren't top 13?
So maybe it's secondaries. I just watched the stat on it just earlier today.
A lot of good players come out of confidence building. So I like to think that this built confidence in him, and it's going to carry him. But he's got that actually. If you listen to the Aikman the other night, Aikman's like, look, some guys got great arms, some guys are great leaders, some guys are they have all that, but they're not accurate. They can't get the ball to the open guy. He's like, Drake May can get the ball to the open guy.
He's athletic, he's strong, he's intelligent. He's an intelligent quarterback. I actually been following him since I'm a Tar Heel fan too.
Oh yeah, I am.
So I've been following him for a little while, and not because I'm a homer, but honestly, like he is. I honestly think he is the real deal. So
yeah, I'm happy.
Did the Bears fall in Green Bay?
Yes.
I would have bet a lot that I did bet a lot that they would not beat the Eagles. So, I don't know what to make of the Bears. Is Ben Johnson a fucking genius? Is that what it is?
He's already been he's already started to build it in the image of the team that he had before. He's got his pass catching back. He's got his court and his running back of the future who could hit the lines and hit the seams, break people's ankles. He's already had good receivers there waiting. He drafted another one, and the first thing he did in free agency is fortify the interior of that O-line.
They had two good tight ends. Yeah, he came into a good situation. I think he chose wisely. He had his pick of the litter, and why go pick one of these crap? They had some talent there already. He inherited some talent, and then you put some good coaching with some good talent, and you're going to get what you got. So
there's a chance Caleb Williams will not finish in the top 20 quarterbacks. He'll in fantasy, because
top what?
There's a chance he will not finish as far as passer rating in the top 20. He's like 18th right now. Yeah. Now, fantasy is a different story because the legs are a big factor, but this could end up being the lowest rated quarterback on the number one seed in several years.
I'd be surprised if they hold on to the number one seed, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But Super Bowls have been won by lesser quarterbacks.
True. I have a question. Do we see the Jags take control of the AFC South? Mm-hmm. And the Colts run is
maybe for at least a game.
I mean, that's a good. I mean, we're in first right now. I'm in Jacksonville, so they're in first right now. So I don't know, man. I still the Trevor Lawrence, but I don't believe in Daniel Jones. I think he's mediocre, but they played some weak teams early in the year too, which could they're a little fool's gold. I don't know. I don't. Neither of those teams scares me to win at all. So, it's supposed to be shitty weather here on Sunday too. So,
how far out is Houston behind first place in the division?
A game.
A game.
Both the chance. Both the
Colts that game where they're up 20 and lost it in the fourth. Gave up 21 in a row.
Yeah. Both the Colts and the Jaguars are 8-4, and the Texans are 7-5.
Yeah, you still have enough games left. I don't know if the debate is between the Colts and the Jags. I don't think it's a good bet because for the Colts to win it, they have to get past the Jags and the Texans. Texans are too hot now, and I don't know if the Jags or the Colts have an offense that's built to take what the Texans are dealing out right now.
Well, one thing to look at with the Colts. So they play the Jags. They have to split with the Jags because this is what they close with. The Jags, Seattle and Seattle. Kind of a toss-up. 49ers, loss. Colts, and they played the Texans twice. Or one more time. I'm sorry, one more time.
Who is this? The Colts or the Jags?
The Colts close with the Jags twice, the Texans once, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. They could easily go 0-5.
It's possible.
You're right. You are right.
What's the Jags?
It's ridiculously easy, but I mean, obviously they do play the Colts twice. Hang on, what's the Jags?
I got it here. The next week they play the Jets at home. Then they go on the road to the Broncos. That'll be tough. But then they go on the road to Indianapolis again, and they end the season in Jacksonville against the Titans.
Yeah, I don't see them going 0-5. So
no. And
Houston's got Chiefs this week, so that could be tough for them. But I don't know. That's a good question, Greg. That's a good question. I'd like to say yes, but
so the Texans have the Chiefs, which the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs. So
yeah. Jags beat them,
but they also get the Raiders and the Cardinals.
Yeah, and the Chargers.
And the Chargers. And bear in mind, the Chargers are playing under the curse.
Yeah. They don't have an offensive line left.
No, well, they disrespected the terrible towels. So they were lucky they played such a lousy team last week. I do not like the Chargers will find a way to miss the playoffs.
They usually do.
And just remember, you fuck with the terrible towel, your season goes to shit.
That's true.
It's
a scientific fact.
Yeah,
it is.
It's like
every time somebody does it, they tank. Jags lost 10 in a row when they did it. I mean, the Titans, I think they lost 18 in a row, and Jeff Fisher officially apologized to the city of Pittsburgh to try to break the streak. Bengals back in the day went from playoff contenders to losers for a couple of seasons when they did it. So, Chargers, it's going to happen. Justin Herbert broke a bone in his hand last week. It's going to happen. Yeah. All right, guys. Everybody, thanks for watching. We had a good crowd here tonight, and didn't get a bunch of questions, but at the same time, if you guys want to ask fantasy questions, that's what we're here for. Like I said, we'll be on tomorrow night, special time. Until then, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, take care, man. Gotta get back.
Sure. Take it easy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you will.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
I don't know about you, but I take comfort in that.